be with us very shortly. Scott, how you doing today, sir?
I am too blessed to be stressed.
Well, we're having a beautiful day here in St. Louis. I know in Kansas City, you guys have a lot of snow up there. That you have, a matter of fact, a record amount of snowfall. And like I said, that's just a lot of snow that came down. But we have said that again. We hope everyone is safe. You know, Mr. Richardson right now will be joining us very shortly. As we are having some technical difficulties, well, but we'll just be straightened out very shortly. My name is Howard, folks. The CEO of Consumer Commerce. And also we have Mr. Owen, also with Richardson USA, HotTarget.com, our general manager, and all our chief engineer also. And so Mr. Richardson, who is the host of your show today, will be joining us very, very shortly. He had some technical difficulties, and he'll be joining us very shortly. And so right now, all we can say is that I hope you're safe wherever you are, and that this has been a beautiful week already, and that things are looking forward to a productive week. I'm not sure what Mr. Richardson had planned for the show today, but I know he always has a great show. The last week we had a very good show where we had Mr. Smackbone. We talked about the union, the internships that's available to members across the state and across the Midwest, I should say. And so we're looking forward to moving with that program. And also, we know that the guests who's coming to Kansas has been on here a long, good program here on Ferguson USA, HotTarget.com right now. You can hear it on YouTube, Ferguson USA, HotTarget.com, and also on Facebook. Also, the podcast we heard on Spotify, Twitch, and quite other ways. You know, when you get a podcast, you can just dial in MC Richardson. Yes, we're coming to Kansas City. You should be able to hear this podcast anywhere in the world, matter of fact. And so that's a good thing as we utilizing technology. We are seeing very short Richardson will be joining us. So we get the technology. You know, that's the good thing about technology, Scott. When it works, it's fine. When it doesn't work, it's not fine.
Tell me about it.
And we had more days than the worst that did not work. So this is a rare day. So again, you can blame it on the snow if you want to, or the weather.
Well, we like blaming it on the weather anyway. So.
well, the weather has some big shoulders. We're not only looking on the weather here in the city, but for the whole country, because the storm that hit Kansas City, man, we went onto the East Coast. It drops a lot of ice, rain, sleet, and snow. So, I mean, we got the whole combination for you there.
This is true. Did want to let you know that you can comment on the Facebook page, and I'll bring it up in case to the show. All right.
Okay, and that's I'm sorry. I apologize for saying that. Normally, I'll be doing my own show, which comes on 1 p.m. every Saturday on Ferguson USA, HotTarget.com, called Large Music by Jim McConaughey. So that's why I was going to say that. But you haven't said I'm being a guest today, which is Richardson on guest to come to Kansas City, along with Scott. Okay. Okay. Try.
Okay, stand by.
392 8 7. throughout the world. You listen to Guess Who's Coming to Kansas City, and it's okay here for today. Same thing might happen in St. Louis. But we got a very dramatic show planned for you today. And of course, we're in the Black History Month. We'll go to the remembrance and dialogue. First, starting with you, Mr. Scott.
What do you need from me, sir?
About what's going to take place the funeral next Saturday.
Both of us have a funeral that is next Saturday, so the show may be one that we've already recorded.
Well, go on and tell them about you, and I'll tell you about my remembrance.
Okay. I just found out that I have actual family. I was adopted when I was a child, and I just found out that I have family about 2 years ago, and my mother, who had me in 1962, had passed away, but the patriarch of the family was 95, and he just passed away last night, so I need to attend the funeral in Buffalo.
Okay, I have one too, and we reached throughout the nation. You talk about Buffalo, New York, and I'm talking about a funeral of Linda Carol Salas West. She passed away a few days ago, and her funeral will be next Saturday also in Tulsa, Oklahoma, at the Jack Memorial Funeral Chapter, and they have a visitation there from 12 noon to 8 p.m. Now we're going to go on to the rest of the show, and I just found out, I was thinking February was Mardi Gras time, but Mardi Gras time is, it starts March the 1st. I talked to the people down in New Orleans, and they planned a 2-week celebration. And also, we used to do that in Kansas City. Every year, somebody would put on a Mardi Gras type ceremony. But now we're back in the heart of America in Kansas City, and I have a young man I've known over a period of years. And normally, we know this is Black History Month. And normally, when black business or any business gets started, but mostly with the minority community, they have problems getting their business plan together. And it's been told numerous times that they should have a CPA and a lawyer. Well, the gentleman that's on the line with us today, he just celebrated his 50th anniversary as a certified public accountant. And we're going to kind of take a look at Mr. Ralph C. Johnson. So, Mr. Johnson, tell us how you got started. And after, I normally say this, but I don't think they ran you out of Texas. You from Texas. Let's go from there.
Well, I am from Texas. Can you hear me well?
Now, go ahead. We just said that I have a little humor in there that they ran you out, but you left on your own because you wanted to leave. What college did you go to?
I'm from a small town in Texas, Pittsburgh, Texas. But that's about 60 miles north of Tyler, Texas, 140 miles out of south and east of Dallas. I moved to Wichita, Kansas as a teenager. And from there, I went to school at another small all-black school, Oakwood College in Huntsville, Alabama.
Now, is that a part of the Historical Black College University?
It is.
Okay, that's what I'm trying to get more people to get involved with that, because we have a conference coming up on September the 16th and 17th, and we're looking for more people who attended or encouraged their children to go to the Historical Black College. But what made you decide to, and I have on the line with us two other gentlemen, what made you decide to get off into accounting?
Oh, when I graduated from college, first of all, when I went to college, I didn't know what I was going to major in, so I majored in business. And at Oakwood College, unless you specified otherwise, then you were in accounting. And my major professor at that time, when I graduated, he said he was from Trinidad, He said, "You're a CPA, man. Get up your CPA." I said, "Okay, doc, what's a CPA?" But I graduated, went to Wichita, Kansas, back home, and started looking for jobs in public accounting. Long story, I was fortunate to get hired with a large local firm there in Wichita, Kansas. And I stayed with them until 19, basically 1977. I took a hiatus from them and went and taught accounting at Alabama A&M University. Then I went back to Wichita and taught at Wichita State University. And then I went back with the firm in Wichita. They transferred me to Kansas City. I had developed a clientele in Kansas City. So shortly after I moved up here, I quit the firm and started my own firm, Ralph C. Johnson and Company. I was fortunate enough to take a cadre of clients with me, and the firm did not exercise their contractual right and charge me for those clients. So I was able to start out with a decent book of business.
And not only that, what happened? You're talking about people talk about our filling Chiefs this year, but Andy Reid had a lot of people went through him before they became coaches. Well, through Mr. Ralph C. Johnson, you had Wayne Sellers, you had Jerry Williams, and you had a lot of other people that got their experience by you providing them the opportunity. How did that come about, Mr. Johnson?
Well, in this profession, in order to be certified, you have to have so many years experience with a CPA firm. And since I was a black-owned company, you mentioned Wayne Sellers. Wayne Sellers and I were schoolmates before we were colleagues. And Jerry Williams was a young man that I hired out in business. They all got their experience from me, or from my firm rather, passed the exam and became certified. So several clients came through my firm are now certified, both black, white, Asian. Uh, so we had a United Nations at my office at one time.
For the audience point of view, you listen to a special broadcast celebrating Black History Month. We have Mr. Ralph C. Johnson, who is the president of his own company. When you first started, how did you get your clients? I know you've been involved in a lot of things, especially in this city, but how did you get started? Who took a chance on Ralph C. Johnson here?
Well, as I said earlier, when I left the firm I was with, I took some clients with me. So I had developed a clientele while I was with the other firm. And when I left the firm, they came with me. So I started my practice with a book of business. And of course, it has grown, waxed and waned through the years. But that's how I got started. I did not start my firm with no clients at all. The day I opened my business, I had a book of clients. And the firm that I left, we left on very favorable terms, and they supported me in my move.
Well, I think you answered my question about the former firm that you're with, that they support you, because I was wondering, a lot of time, if you knew, you have to take your chance. And how did the city receive you? Did they have any problem with you handling all the accounting work for them?
Well, as I said, I had to develop a clientele up here in Kansas City. I was with the other firm. I come to Kansas City on Monday and go back to Wichita, Kansas on Friday. So I had a book of business up here. And as you know, MC, uh, Kansas City had a very, very viable black business community. And I was fortunate enough to meet some of the black businessmen, and they introduced me to others. And they all, some became clients, they all became friends. And that's how we expanded our practice.
Well, you were successful in getting started like that, but why is it, I'll say, essential for a person starting in business to get connected or affiliated with an accounting firm like yours?
Beg your pardon, I didn't understand the question.
Okay.
I didn't understand your question.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm saying, why is it important that a person getting in business should attain an accounting firm to handle their accounting work?
You know, in the heart of, or any business to know what they're doing or where they're going, they need good accounting records. And in a lot of instances, if you want to get a loan, the bank want to see financial statements, and they would like for these statements to be prepared or audited by CPAs. The bulk of our practice is basically non-profit organizations, and we do most all of our audits are with non-profit organizations or housing projects.
Well, you bring up another good point. If we could get Mr. Folks in there, a lot of people, where they start a company, but then it's very hard for them to get bonding. Kind of tell us what your experience has been in getting people ready to get a bonding type foundation, Mr. Folks.
Well, bonding is very much important for in any business, because it ensures that the company that you're working for, that you are insured, and but you have some financial record, like Mr. Johnson said, that can verify what you said is being true. That the figure that you're saying, that whatever you said that is true financially, it has to be verified. And a CPA, like I said, certified public accountant, that means that what he says is true. But I would say they take it as word of mouth, but when he says it, they take it as a matter of fact.
Mr. Johnson, go ahead, Mr. Johnson.
What's happening right now, the importance of CPA firms has come to the forefront. Our former president, Trump, his CPA firm has dumped it. They've come out and said that do not rely on any of the statements that we have presented before. And we think that his being dumped, as it were, he's going to have difficulty with getting finances and getting financing, because people are not going to have confidence in his statements, in his reports.
Well, let me ask you this. Does a person just normally pick a bank, or do you best advise them about how to get a bank to start their own business banking account? How does that come about?
I did have, and still do have, a relationship with some banks. But businesses that come to me generally have banking relationships. I have referred clients by banks if they want me to audit or review accounting records from companies that are trying to get loans from them. Banks will refer clients to us. We rarely refer people to banks. They come to us already having some kind of banking relationship.
You mentioned a very important word. I wish you would kind of take it a step further about different firms or different business. Once they get a contract, they have to be audited. In most cases, someone audit them. How does that work? How do they get involved? Who's the one that specifies you must get audited? And why is that important?
Well, what happens, certain types of businesses are required to be audited. Uh, if you're doing work with the federal government, getting certain grants as for nonprofits, the government the grantor will require your having an audit. Or financial institutions would want the accountant to audit the financial statements, or at least to help you prepare the financial statements. Uh, so, yes, it is.
Well, who's the one that certifies companies such as yourself? What do they have to do to get certified to become public accountant, certified public accountant?
Today, in order to become a certified public accountant, you must have a master's degree in accounting. When I started, a bachelor's was fine, but now you have to have a master's degree in in accounting. Then you must have experience with a CPA firm, and you have to pass a national examination. It's a 4-part exam. It generally takes a couple of days. You pass that exam, you have the experience, and then the state will give you a certificate. You have to have the experience, and pass the exam first.
Well, I think you answered my next question, because just as they say it's very rigorous to pass the bar, the same thing applies to people getting ready to pass their CPA accounting certificate or whatever to get there to become a CPA.
Well, the bar is very rigorous, but the CPA exam also is very rigorous. Today, a person can sit down for the CPA exam and just take one part at a time. When I took the exam, we had to take all 4 parts at once. The average setting was, I think, 5 times before the full exam was passed. Now you can't measure that because people take the exam one part at a time, and you don't know, you can't compare taking the exam when I took it with the people taking the exam today. But it's still a national exam. The exam is administered by the American Institute of CPAs, and most states accept that exam as their own. The state issues the certificate, but the exam is sponsored or given by the American Institute of CPAs.
I know you have quite a good reputation, and you've been certified here, but I know you go beyond Kansas City, that even working with the city, they want, if you got a contract from the city, so like when they started the Kansas City, Missouri Fund Development Fund, they have to get certified every year in order to get paid. That's another thing. A lot of times people have to when they get paid, they must turn in their financial record, and normally that is handled by a CPA or accounting firm. Is that right?
Oh, that's true. We have a contract now. Our firm does have a contract with the PIF Commission, and the audit costs that contractors present to them for reimbursement or for payment. So before they can get paid, we will have to review their records to verify the costs before they can be paid. And our contract is with the TIF Commission, or the Tax Increment Financing Commission.
Other people on the line, Mr. R. Polk in St. Louis, how familiar are you with accounting firms in St. Louis, Mr. Polk?
We naturally have quite a few here in the St. Louis area that we have. And matter of fact, Mr. Johnson, I'm happy to be in this conversation
because Missouri Chamber of Commerce is taking into account ourselves that even if we had this conversation. So I'll really give you a call back sometime next week to have a conversation about possible wills in our organization. But having said that, there are several in the area that I'm aware of in here, and like you said, in any city or any state government, we have to utilize this accounting services just to do business. And if you're a large company or large business, small business, it's very important because as the dollars are being distributed from the state or from the federal government, they want to make sure the dollars are being accounted for in a proper manner.
Ladies and gentlemen, all our listeners, and we've reached throughout the country and other countries too with this important program. It's very essential. I don't know, should I say very or most essential that you get involved with a CPA firm. I know at one time, Mr. Johnson, they had, I don't know if it's still ongoing now or not, but you had the Black CPA Association. Is that still true in Kansas City?
The chapter in Kansas City, I think it's still alive. I'm not active in it anymore. But as a organization, there is a trade association called the National Association of Accountants, the National Association of Black Accountants, which is made up of black CPAs, black CPA firms, and accountants in private industry. That organization is headquartered out of Washington, D.C. The acronym is NABA, National Association of Black Accountants. And then the black CPA firms are part of that as a part of they're called the division of firms. We are associated with the NABA. This is a division of firms which are minority CPA firms across the nation. Minority being Black, Hispanic, Asian.
I know to our listeners that when Jimmy Woodley and I conceived the Greater Kansas City Black Chamber of Commerce, and a lot of people try to duplicate that system. Then you initiated the Missouri Black Chamber of Commerce. How does this differ from the various cities? Because different cities might have their own Chamber of Commerce. What makes you different from those?
Well, what makes us different is that the Missouri Black Chamber of Commerce, the word Missouri speaks for itself. We have chambers around the state of Missouri, down in Baytown, Missouri. We established a chamber. We put in chambers. We have one work group in Kansas City, a group there, and we work with one naturally here in the St. Louis area, and working on one in the Jeff City area. And that's why I said, we are somewhat a new organization. And we're part of a national organization called the National Chamber of Commerce that works on a global basis. And we are the affiliate of the National Chamber of Commerce. And that's why, we put much handle business for the national in the state of Missouri.
Mr. Johnson, I don't know how much you're aware, but what do you suggest people when they have a Chamber of Commerce, they seek your chamber, your association to get involved? Do you guys have a list of the different people who might be in the need of a certified? Of course, they want a good certified public accountant. But how do you guys exchange information? Is something people they call you? How do you get your clients? I know you started out with a very good clientele, and you've been doing this, just celebrating your 50th year here in Kansas City or as a public accountant. How do the people find out about you? Do other people tell them? Do the banks tell them? How does this come about, in your opinion?
I've been very fortunate, and my practice has grown or been sustained through the years, primarily by word of mouth. I have, my clients are happy, and they tell others. So we have never had a marketing plan per se, but our clientele comes from referrals from other clients or other organizations. And I get calls all the time, well, not all the time, but frequently. I'll get a call from someone who are met me back in the 70s. They will call me because they remember the firm.
Mr. Folk with the Missouri Black Chamber of Commerce, and you guys just getting started 3 or 4 years ago. What does the Missouri Chamber of Commerce do? Why should a person become a member of the Missouri Black Chamber of Commerce located in St. Louis?
Well, not only here in St. Louis, what we do, that's why Mr. Johnson, remember my number that I called you on, okay? I know it's a 314 number, okay? I'll be calling you again, first of all, okay?
Okay.
And when I have said that, what we do is we have businesses that are starting up business, some businesses that have been around for a while. And one of the problems that a lot of businesses want to do business with black people, and a lot of white companies now want to do business with black companies, especially in these times, and especially during the Black History Month. And so we act as a referral service for those people that need help and who are looking for to do business with the black community. And as you know, you hear now more about black, be black, and stuff like that, which means that you want to find a company. But I haven't said that there's naturally a hard time to find a black company to do business with, depending on what you want to deal with. And we have been fortunate enough through the National Black Chamber of Commerce to develop what we call the American Marketplace.com, which was operated 24 hours a day, which is the website. That you can always find a black business of any sort. We also have on that site information that leads you to business that you're looking for, how the business can be rated, and also how you can also find money for grants, and also how you can work with other black businesses.
Okay, I'm going to ask Mr. Johnson also. Your organization, both of you probably get very close to one another, identify or at least have some communication. A lot of people don't understand the need for having, well, they have public accountants. And can you do this? Can you distinguish the difference between a public accountant and a certified public accountant, Mr. Johnson?
Well, a public accountant are those people who provide services to the public, but they are not certified by the state. That's the big difference. They do some of the same things, but a public accountant cannot audit financial statements. So, in order to get an audit opinion, you must have a certified public accountant. But there are some very good public accountants out there that provide very good service, accounting, tax, and otherwise. They do not do audits because they're not certified, but there are several very good public accountants out there providing very good service. And we are frequently referred clients by them, and they have a client that needs an audit. They will refer them to us.
Mr. Johnson, what all goes into an audit when you hear that word, an audit? What all that entail?
Well, I guess you can say that we look inside your business to verify that the numbers on the financial statements are fairly presented. Okay, we will look at the financial statements, and then we'll look at the documentation which support those numbers. And that's what an audit is. The auditor will review those statements, and then they will determine if the statements themselves present fairly the financial condition of the company and the results of operation, the income and expenses of the company. And those are fairly presented. Now, I emphasize fair and not accurate because we don't look at everything, but we say that the statements are fairly presented, that an informed reader can place confidence in the statements they are presented.
Well, Mr. Johnson, you just gave an example. I guess you can call this a public example a few minutes ago about former President Donald Trump and the Trump organizations. And they had a company that was their company that had been business for many years. That now made a statement that the figures for the last 10 years are not accurate. Exactly what is that being said in that statement?
That was a huge statement. What they're saying is that statements that they said in the past, for the past 10 years, that they had said were fairly stated, and you cannot depend on that being the case. Meaning that they were probably given information that was not accurate. I guess, what can you say?
Well, I know in a lot of people starting business that can't afford an accountant or don't know they should get an accountant, they start out with a bookkeeper. Give us the description. This is for our public, our people who are in business or want to get in business. These are things you've got to know, or you need to, I'll say hook up, that's probably the wrong word to use, but they have to find out why they need bookkeepers. And you kind of stress that not only the auditor is the one to determine if everything you say is true and you have your documentation, but normally people start off just getting started, they hire a bookkeeper. What should they look for in acquiring a bookkeeper? And why should they have one?
Well, everyone don't know how to prepare financial statements that are according to current standards. So, a public accountant, be it certified public accountant or not, probably knows how to prepare financial statements that meet certain standards. I frequently tell people that if a company or a bank, a bonding company wants a certified financial statement, I said they're looking for somebody that they can sue. Because once you certify that, okay, these statements are fairly presented, and the company goes south, the bonding company is going to come and sue the insurance, the CPA, say, we made this loan or we gave this bond based on the statements that you made, and now we're going to come after you because statements were not accurate. I tell people that a lot of times they're asked to get an audit so that the person making the loan or making the grant wants someone to sue in case if the company goes south. That's kind of crude, but that's
the facts. But it's the facts. You can't drag that. It's just the facts.
Yeah.
Mr. Johnson, while we on the facts that a lot of times a lot of black companies that we encounter have experienced problems with bonding. Mr. MT referred to years ago. I came to Kansas City to work with the city to set up a bonding program with the former administration that was there, and we brought in a national organization that was in the process of doing that, but the person in charge decided to do something different, behind our back. To be honest about that, and did some on a smaller level, on a smaller scale. It included just a couple of people. But the national Black Chamber Company, Real Chamber Company, still want to work with the Kansas City there in creating a bonding client that can come in, that can work with your office in helping in getting something that they're established. Okay, so I will be calling you along those lines and have that kind of conflict with you also.
I'm at your service, sir.
Yeah, sir. Thank you, sir. That was we have quite a bit, and like I said, we came in, and it was like a major. And what people understand is you're gonna get a major contract with a major part of a major project, and that's just a $10 million project. You cannot be bonding for $100,000. to get a contract. Explain that to us, Mr. Johnson, why that is.
Well, here again, bonding companies, they're going to look at the strength of the company which they're bonding. And they look at the financial statements that the company presents to them. If the statements are audited and there's an audit opinion on the statements, then the bonding company will give the bond or make the bond, because they say, okay, these numbers that were shown are fairly presented, are fair. Now, like as I said earlier, if they come out to be wrong, and the bonding company, trust me, will come after and sue the CPA firm for that.
I guess if people can understand that, the credibility that your company brings to the table. Like one of the things MC has asked so far, what are some of the major clients that you have in the Kansas City area? Can you speak along those lines?
Well, I'm very fortunate in that I have a lot, but not a lot. But I don't have what you call a major client. A major client would be one that constitutes more than 10% of your practice. I don't have one client that falls in that category. But we're very lucky in that regard. We have several clients in our book of clients. We do work. A lot of our work. I mentioned the TIF Commission. We do audits of some of those cost proposals.
Kind of explain what a TIF Commission is.
The Tax Increment Financing Commission. I'm sure they have something similar down in St. Louis.
Oh, yes, we do. Yes, sir.
So the developer will come in and make a drawdown of those funds, and they want to use a TIF or financing for it. Well, the commission wants those funds audited before they will give reimbursed for the reimbursed contract. And we have a contract with the TIF Commission here to do that kind of work.
But in essence, that's probably knowing the TIF. You have an area that's where the city had made money available over a period of years, and most times that money has to be accounted for, verified that the money is going to those where it's to be spent by, and it's actually being spent by the people that's accountable for, to the corporation. Am I right, sir?
Yes.
And normally a TIF is something that's a major, several $1 million that we talk about. But also, I'm quite sure you have clients that deal with much smaller amounts of money than that, sir.
Yes, we do. Most of my business are with nonprofits, small nonprofit organizations. I should say that they're my bread and butter. We do several housing projects that get HUD funded. I'm not crazy about those, but since we started doing them, I guess we'll have to continue. But
I was going to say, before we have to leave, and this is a very valuable show and much needed, distinguish for our public the difference between a not-for-profit and a profit. Because it's just like our school district, it's just like the light company, just like a lot of them, they're not-for-profit, but they do big business. So kind of distinguish that to our listening audience. And hopefully more people would attain the services of companies like Ralph C. Johnson CPA Company. And before we close, you'll give that information how you might be contacted. But just distinguish the difference, because they think not-for-profit is always these small businesses.
No. Some nonprofits are very large. I'm thinking of the Kaufman Foundation. That's a not-for-profit. They're very large.
Most hospitals are.
I beg your pardon?
I said most hospitals are nonprofits.
Yeah, like, most hospitals are non-profit. So all but the non-profit means that they have a charitable purpose, a charitable function, and the benefit cannot be, profits cannot go to any one private source. They are there to serve for the benefit of the public. And, school districts are mostly non-profits, although they've had some of these charter schools that are for-profit, but most of them are non-profit.
You know, Mr. Johnson, you hit on a nail on the head. There are a lot of discussion, I know, here in St. Louis, around the country, difference between charter schools and regular schools, and that regular schools are being audited by the state, and most charter schools are for profit and not audited by the state. Can you kind of talk about that a little bit, sir?
Well, the charter schools are audited by CPA firms, and public schools are also audited by CPA firms. The state auditor has a responsibility, but the work of actually doing the audits are done by public CPA firms, private CPA firms. That I cooperate with a company that audited the Kansas City, Missouri School District. That's a private company of CPA firms that audit the public school system. The reports go to the state, and the state can come in and do their own audits, but most school districts are audited by private CPA firms.
You know, Mr. Johnson, one thing that we left hanging in the air, and that we kind of nailed down when we speak about the former President Trump, the importance of his auditing firm. It does not affect what he's done in the past, but going forward, it affects how you can get new money. Am I right? When we said there's auditing firm, but kind of left not verifying his work. This kind of affects how you get new money. Am I right, sir?
If I understand you correctly, I think the past president ran a fast on the CPA firm, and I was wondering when our president's business came under scrutiny, I often wondered when the CPA firm was going to step up, and now I know what they did. They dumped it. And
that's not good.
No. And as a practice, we do some due diligence, background check on the companies we do business with to see if they are credible. Because we don't want to get involved with companies that are not credible. It goes on us, and we will be tarnished by that. So we work very hard on screening the people we do business with. And
well, ladies and gentlemen, once again, we come to that closing hour, and I want to thank you, Mr. Ralph C. Johnson. But however, we also want you to inform people in both the Missouri Black Chamber of Commerce how people can get in touch with both of you if they want to seek out your service or they want to find out more what is proper and the right thing to do.
Well, as you said, you can Google us, Ralph C. Johnson, Certified Public Accountant. We are on the net. Our website. That's the best way to find us. You just go and Google us.
Well, in the case of Missouri Black Chamber of Commerce, our website is under construction. But you can contact me to M.T. Richardson anytime, or you can Scott's radio station. Mr. Richardson always has my number, how to get in contact with me. like you and John, we go back over at least 40 years or more that we've been talking to each other. So I look forward to giving you a call. So if you this 314 number pops up, it's me, sir.
I will keep your number.
Thank you, sir. Okay, thank you, sir. And I will keep yours. Because
Do either one of you have any close remarks you'd like to tell the people who just happen to tune in?
Well, yes, sir. I thank you, NC, again for this show. On the head of the Missouri Chamber of Commerce, we're growing. We are here to direct black businesses the proper way to go, to do the proper things. And Mr. Johnson just laid out the importance of being in contact with a reputable CPA in what the example he just gave us. So we look forward to working with him in the near future.
And also, UMA, United Minority Media Association, we're looking for historical black colleges to contact us. We need to get them for our Midwest Southeastern Conference that's upcoming on September the 16th and the 17th. And I just happened to watch Howard Bison University play today on the ESPN, and Howard beat them in the last second. They beat the Morgan State College, and both of them are historical black college. Does that same apply to your college you went to, Mr. Johnson?
Oakwood College does not have a sporting team of any kind. It's primarily academics. No basketball, no football, no track. It's primarily all academics.
Mr. Johnson, while you're on the air here in front of the MC, the Missouri Chamber of Commerce with our NASH, we have a program. We're giving our scholarships in the Blockchain Academy under the black colleges. So I want to make sure I get some of those to your school.
Beg your pardon?
We have some Blockchain Academy scholarships that we get out into the HBCUs around the country, and I want to make sure that I get come to your college, sir.
Well, sure. It's Oakwood University now.
Oakwood University, yes, sir. I look forward to the conversation.
Okay. I'll be glad to talk to you.
Yes, sir.
Thanks everybody for listening. Be sure to tune in. We're going to talk about banking, economics. We're going to talk about things that people do every day and need to do. Always stay tuned to this. Tell us about this operation you got going on, Mr. Our folks and Mr. Scott.
The Ferguson USA Hot Talk Radio is available on its website, FergusonUSAHotTalkRadio.com. We are also available on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. So you can get to me through any of those venues.
You can find lunch with the Missouri Chamber of Commerce in all those locations also.
Well, Ralph, you got another chance to close us out. Go ahead.
As I said, you can find us on Google. I want to thank MC for inviting us to join this conversation and giving us the exposure. So thank you.
Yes, sir.
And Scott, he will be getting his page together, put on the Yuma HQ KC1.org on the website. And Mr. Johnson, Mr. Scott is the one that is helping us to establish that website.
Look forward to talking to you, Mr. Scott.
You can donate on that website, UMMAHQKC1.com. Wait a minute.
Thanks everybody for listening, and we can't say go Chiefs this week. So we'll wait till next year, see who we draft. Thank you very much, and stay tuned to us each and every day. And Ari, quickly, what time does your show come on? And also, we might have to do another show already recorded for next week. Might, but we will continue to do our show.
1 to 3 p.m. every Saturday since 2015. You can hear Ferguson. You hear lunch with the Missouri Chamber of Commerce in 2015 on Ferguson USA, HotTalkRadio.com.
Well, thank you, and what I have to say now is bye, y'all.
And life is good, and please be safe. And stay warm.